Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. This post is from the 14th of December 2011 and it's called "It's Not Like a Physical Illness." The thing with anorexia or any other eating disorder is that it's not like a physical illness. Sure, people can see that you're losing weight at a rapid pace, but I believe that most people just don't realise that there is a mass of other really nasty stuff going on as well. Messy emotions, erratic and sometimes violent behaviour, irrational thinking, compulsions, obsessions, personality changes, and a complete inability to cope with normal life. It is not simply a diet gone too far. It is not something that any sensible person could just snap out of, which is what you hear quite a lot. All of this, and probably a load more besides, adds up to the reason why our children are at a disadvantage when it comes to things like sitting important exams and qualifying for university. I expect that many of them, like Ben, are more than capable of doing top degree programs, the kind that require all A grades or A stars. But through no fault of their own, they get poor grades, or, like one of Ben's AS level exams, a U classification, a fail. When I talk to school teachers and university admissions staff, I wonder just how much they really get it. If I was standing there explaining that my son has spent the past 2 years battling with cancer, then I often wonder if they'd be more sympathetic to our case. I could be wrong, of course. They do appear to be sympathetic, but when asked how much flexibility there is should Ben fail to get the grades he is more than capable of getting, it's all, well, it depends how oversubscribed we are. In other words, there's not much chance of them allowing slipped grades when they're being swamped by students with 3 A's and A stars. What about the fact that people like Ben really are capable of studying a 3 A's course at a so-called red brick university? Not just capable, but supremely knowledgeable and passionate about their chosen subject. That they need this intellectual stimulation. It is part of their makeup. It is what makes them tick. It is what makes their lives worthwhile and gives them focus. Academic study was one of the only things that ran like clockwork at a time when everything else in Ben's life was going pear-shaped. Not to mention the rock-solid fact that students like Ben have mastered independent learning skills, something that is so important to succeeding at university. Other fantastic skills they've mastered include self-motivation, focus, research and evaluation abilities, deep thinking, time management, and the ability to work through periods when you feel pretty rubbish or are sick. So I asked an admissions tutor the other day if, in the event that Ben didn't get his grades, they might consider interviewing him so he can prove to them just how capable he is. I know he'd love to have this opportunity, and I know his passion and sheer depth and breadth of knowledge would come across loud and clear. But the answer was no. So, if he doesn't get his grades, and there is no flexibility to allow for the fact he's been battling in a physical and emotional hell for the past 2 years while studying for critical exams, then it may be a case of having to resit the exams until he does get the grades, or to go into clearing and opts for a university he doesn't want to go to. Please don't let him have to resit those confounded AS exams again. And that's the end of that post. One thing I found when talking to other families with teenagers who are going through eating disorders, that so many of them, now this is kind of strange, so many of them seem to be extremely capable, highly intelligent young men and women who excel academically, and many of them are perfectionists, which isn't always a good thing, but they are highly intellectual. And this was the case, and is the case, with Ben. And as you can see, I was facing the fact that it seemed there weren't any concessions going to be made for Ben because of everything he'd been through. He was facing a whole mountain of difficulties that many other young people, when applying for university places, don't face, and yet it appeared that no concessions were going to be made, which was quite upsetting at the time, because, as I said, had it been something else that had meant that Ben missed a lot of school through no fault of his own, and messed up his exams again through no fault of his own, whether illness or family problems, whatever, then there may have been concessions. And I just found this so sad and so frustrating. Anyway, thank you for listening to this post. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.